So this is math, quiz number 29, going over it and showing you how to do it here. So most of these are going to be pretty easy for you. So number one, find the total deposit of $19.78 in coins, $158 in currency, and $1,753.89 in checks. These are deposited. What are you going to do for that one? You're going to add those up. I'll let you do that, right? Go ahead and add these up. Line up your decimal points and add these up. Try not to make a mistake. Good check, so I'm starting to do this. Sorry. 10, 11, 12, 13, carry the 1, 9. You could do it faster than me. I have to look at the problem here. So anyway, so check that one. So on to number 2. Find the new balance if checks for $73.85, $106.19, $106.19, and $1,078.19 were written on a balance of $3,007.16, $3,007.16. And so how are you going to do this? The checks written, you take these checks written, these are the checks, $73.85, $106.19, $1,078.19, and go ahead and add these checks. These are the checks written. You're going to have to subtract them from your account. And so what is your balance of your account? Your balance of your account is $3,007.16. So you can just take this amount right here. Here's this amount and subtract it from your account. This is the balance, okay? You just want to find your balance. You take your checks written and then you subtract them from your balance. Pretty easy. Okay, number 3, write what T means in the simple interest. So here's your simple interest, PRT. Remember what it is? What is T? Well, P is your principal, R is your rate, which is a percent. Principal is how much you have, the money that you're taking the interest on. So here's your principal, here's your rate, and here's what's your T. Your T, P-R-I is interest. What is T? T is your time. Principal, rate, and time. I is interest. P is principal, rate, and time. Time in, it always has to be in years, very important. So time in years, because if it's like a half a year, you're going to put 0.5. If it's a half a year or a fourth of a year, or how many months. If it's like 45 months, you're going to be 45 over 365. It always has to be in years. It's time in years. Okay, number 4 here. Doesn't look like a bit because I made a mistake on here. Disregard this section. Find the simple interest if $12,500 is borrowed for 3 years at 9 3/4% rate interest. So we just use the PRT right here on this one. PRT equals interest. Well, the principal is going to be $12,500. The rate is going to be 9 3/4 interest, and we're going to change that to a decimal, remember? So we're going to change this to a decimal, which would be, this would be 9.75%, but now we're going to change it. Move this decimal point, right, over twice. And so we're going to change this to 0.0975 times 3. So because this actually would be 0.0975. Got that? 0.095. And so now as I multiplied this out, I got 0.2925, you know, as the answer in when I multiplied out this times the 3 years, because we have to times it by the 3 years. So this is how I did that. So now we have 12,000, 9.75%, which we changed this to 0.095 times 3. So put all these in, you have to put all these things down, and now you have 12,000 times this is times this out wrong, 0.2925. I made an error in here, and that's why. Here you go, 0.29. So now you're going to time 12,500 times 0.2925. And I did this. You can go ahead and do this out, do the multiplication, the long multiplication problem, and then you're going to move the decimal point over 1, 2, 3, 4 places. So 1, 2, 3, 4 places. So now we got $3,656.25. So PRT, just filling in the blanks and moving over your decimal point to the right place in that one. Number 5, write what B represents in the constant ratio formula. Remember a constant ratio formula? Do you remember that? What does B represent? So here's the formula right here. So what does M represent? 12. It's always 12 months. I is always the interest, and it's never percent. This whole thing is going to end up as a percent, but this is the interest, the interest in the midst of your ratio. So interest. Base is just your base number, and then N is going to be that many months it's going to take for you to pay. 12 is M is always going to be 12. So you have your interest is I, M is 12 months, N is in months. And so what was the question? Right? What B means. What does B mean? The amount of the loan is the amount, or the base. The amount of the loan is what B represents. The amount of your loan in the constant ratio. B represents the amount. Okay? Write what P represents in the compound interest. So here we have compound interest. Remember this, A equals P, and 1 plus R with N. So what does the P represent? P is going to always represent principal, right? And in this in the compound interest formula, you're always going to have to use your calculator because you have an exponent here. And so use a calculator with an exponent. So, and the R is going to be the rate, you know, in years. So anyway, but P represents the principal. Find the total cost of 12 series EE savings bonds with the face value of 100. So if you have 12 EE savings bonds, their face value, that means their face value is going to be 100. So for each one, how much are you going to pay? Are you going to pay 100 for them? No, you're going to pay half. EE bonds, you always pay half from the government. They say, okay, you pay half of it, and then in 17 years, you know, you'll get the face value, which is 100, right? Or how many years? So they charge you half price. So then you say, okay, the face value is $100. So the cost that I'm for each one of them is going to be $50. So then I just take 50 times 12, and I get, what am I going to pay for 12 of them? I'm going to pay half price for 12 of them, which is going to be full price for 12 of them would be what? 6,000, or would be 100 times 12 would be $1,200. But now I'm going to pay half of $1,200, which is $600. So just remember that EE savings bond face value is how much it's going to be in like 10 years. You're going to get $100 from them, but what are you going to pay for them now? $50, right? Those are government bonds. It's that one's a pretty easy one. Number 8, find the date of maturity for an 18-month CD purchased on February 13th, 1998. So you have 18 months. This is just counting months. So you purchased it on February 13th, and you have to count 18 months. Well, if you count 1 year, I always count 1 year, it would be February 13th, 1999, right? But I have to count 6 more months. So February plus 6 months. So I always think, you know, the number for February is 2, and so I add 6 months. The number 8 would be August. So, or else I say February, February, and then March, April, May, June, July, August. So you're gonna have 1 year and 6 months. So August 13th, 1999 is when it would mature. Okay, the CD would mature, and you could get your money. Number 9, find the total cost for $3,500 in traveler's checks if a 1.5% fee is charged. So you're gonna have to pay. First of all, you're gonna have to pay $3,500 for that travel check, right? But you're also gonna have to add a fee to it, and that fee is 1.5%. So $3,000 for travel checks, 1.5 fee. So you change this percent to decimal. So you change that to 0.015. So it'd be 0.01, that would be 1%, and 5 would be that half. And so now I just have to find out the interest, and here I did here. I took 3,500 times 0.015 to find out what I was going to pay. And so you can calculate this out. And I got $52, or $52.50. So I'm going to pay to get a traveler's check for that much. I'm going to pay $52.50 just for fees for them to give me a travel check. So I'm going to pay $52.50 interest. Well, I'm going to add that to the $3,500 that I'm already paying. I added it here, so I can add. So I'm going to pay $3,552.50 to the total cost that I'm going to have to pay for those travel checks. Number 10. Find the yearly service charge if the monthly charge is $11.75. If you're charged $11.75 a month for your service charge, then you're gonna have to pay that every month. So how much you're gonna have to pay in a year? How many months are in a year? 12. So 11.75 times 12. So just take that and you'll get what? Right there, 141, right? So you're gonna pay that for the year.